in Regis, there are a couple of ways you can actually create meetings. You can create a meeting from the meeting tile, which is to the left of the screen here. So we've got our meeting menu tile here, or you can also do it within the application. I'll show you the both ways how to do it, but let's start with using the meeting icon to the left of the screen here. So just to the left of the screen, it's got this kind of brownie color here and it's meetings. What we want to do, we're just going to click on this. I know it does say create meeting there, but I'll just show you if we click on the header here, just to the left of the screen, we have the option to search or create meetings, and we're just going to go ahead and start with creating our first meeting. Okay, so we get this kind of template on the screen here. It's a blank template where we can create our meeting. I'll just go through the kind of items we have on the screen here, and we'll put some data in. So we've got the new meeting and the meeting details in this grey section here. So we've got a title, the type of meeting, active, yep, it's active because we've just created it, the date of the meeting, date of submission closing, any notes we want to add, and we can put a venue in there as well. You can see we've then got some headers just in the middle of the screen here. So attendees for the meeting, applications, milestones, we don't use projects, forms, other notifications, meeting documents, other business and reviews. We'll be going through this during the session, so I won't go too much in detail at this moment, but we will touch on those as we go through. Okay, so let's start off with giving our meeting a title. Really simple. In the title row here, we're just going to say meeting. I'll move that up. Today's date, so 12 September 2023, and just your initials. So really, really nice and easy. Meeting, 12 September 2023, your initials. And once we've added that title, it's a super generic title just for this training session. We then go to the type underneath. So I'll just run through the types of meetings we have in the system. We've got a HREC meeting, so that's a type. We've got other, and we've got specialist subcommittee. If we select any of these different types of meetings, they don't change the format of the meeting template here, okay? It's just an indication that it's either a HREC meeting, might be an other kind of meeting, or specialist subcommittee. So it doesn't change anything based on what we select here. This is pretty much just a title to indicate what type of meeting it is, okay? So just to keep life nice and easy, what we'll do is we'll choose our HREC associated with our own HREC. Okay, and I'm going to choose a random one. I'll go Southeast. So again, we just want to choose the HREC under our organization or our LHD. We won't touch active because this is an active meeting, okay? We want the meeting to be current. We want to get in there and access it, so we're going to leave that as active. For training, we're just going to put a random date. Realistically, guys, your meetings would be set up for the year. The only reason you might be adding a meeting is you might have an ad hoc meeting. So let's go with a date. Let's just go with today's date. So I've just chosen today's date. Submission closing was a few days ago. So as you can see, it automatically calculates a few days prior. So 3 days prior, so you don't have to actually put a submission closing. We won't be touching notes or venue at the moment, okay? We're just pretty much creating a meeting at this point. We're just getting the basics out of the way, which is the name, type, and date. Venue, I don't generally do anything with during training, but I will just note that if you put a venue in here, just say, for example, I've got Southeast Sydney, so I could say meeting room, maybe you're getting everyone to meet in person, or you could say Teams. So that's what you could put in there. This data will pull through, and it'll pull through to the emails that we send. But for training purposes, I don't tend to do that, and I'll show you what happens if you do or don't. So I'm just going to leave it blank. And what we'll do now is we've created our basic meeting template here. So let's hit save in the top right-hand corner here. Yes, that's fine. It knows that it's in the past because, again, submission closing on the 9th. So we're just going to go with yes. This is just for training, guys. So, yep. So something real quick that we can have a look at. We've got a progress bar at the top of the screen here, okay? So it just kind of shows us all the steps that have happened. So this meeting was created, okay, for the 9th, 12th of the 9th, so today. Submission closing was on the 9th. That's what we indicated when we selected today's date as the meeting. And it's currently in progress. So once we start to add things in these sections here, start to add applications, any milestones or forms such as amendments or such, you'll start to see those actually generate here as well. So we'll have a look at that as we go through. And something else to note in the top right-hand corner is the meeting is currently in progress. So that's exactly what we want. We wanted to have a look at that. What I want to show you as well now is what happens when you need to create an ad hoc meeting and how you can do it from within your ethics application. So what I'll do, guys, is if you've recently accessed your ethics application, you can absolutely use your application header to the left of the screen here. So if you click on that, you'll have your application here. But what I'm going to do at this point, I'm just going to go to my homepage because I do want to show you guys again how your homepage tiles are very useful for your work, managing your workload and actioning what you need to action as well. So yesterday we had our ethics application, we completed eligibility. All of our studies should be in our eligible tile here, and I can see they are. What we do is simply go ahead and we click on our NCT study, okay, 11 September. And once you find it, you just go ahead and click on that. It's going to take you into the application. So what I'm showing you at this point is how you can create a meeting from within your ethics application. From the left of the screen here, we've got the management header. We just want to expand that. And you'll see in these headers all here, we do have a meeting header. So we also want to just click on that. So we've expanded management, the gold header here, and we're going to navigate to meetings from the left side here within the application. And all we're going to do is select edit from the right side of the screen here because we can't do anything at this point. We need to make the page editable. And you can see we can add a meeting or we can create a brand new meeting. So I'm not going to get you to create a brand new meeting because we already have one we just created. So we're actually going to just add this application to this meeting we just created. But if you needed to create a brand new meeting, you just select this button and it'd take you to the section we were just in where we created the new meeting. That's all this button will do. It will take you into a blank template and you create the meeting and the application will be assigned to that meeting. So what we want to do at this point is we want to select the add meeting option. And this is where we're going to make life super easy for ourselves. We're just going to put just our meeting title in there. And it was meeting 12 September 2023 and your initials. And you should have one meeting pulling up. You can search by the meeting type. Okay, so your HREC meeting dash Western Sydney, for example. You can look at the date it was the meeting is closed, so today's date, and that'll help you further filter. But to make life super easy, using your meeting title will pull that one meeting for you. All you do is check it, little checkbox there, and then the tick at the bottom, okay, adds the meeting. The meeting hasn't been saved at this point because we can see that the text is not black. So any text that is not black indicates that you need to save the progress, and we can also see that by the floppy disk in the top right hand corner. That's just a save icon. That means we have some data we need to save. So this is a really good tip if you're working on something, the text is blue, green, gold, anything other than black, make sure we save it. So we're just going to hit save in the top right hand corner there. All right, so we've got a couple of icons here and I'll just touch on them. So delete would remove this meeting from this application, so we don't want to do that. Edit will take us into an editable format of the meeting. This is going to view the meeting in a viewable format, so we don't edit it. And this just provides us with meeting details. So I want us to go into the meeting in an editable format. So I'd select this little pencil in the box icon. Okay, and it's just going to take us into the meeting and we can go ahead and start adding some attendees and finalizing our meeting setup there. We've popped into the meeting, okay, editable format here. And what we want to do now is we want to start going through the meeting here. So what we want to start with, you should be on the attendees page. So let's go ahead and select add attendee. So we've selected the add attendee button here. And we get the option to select all of our attendees for the meeting. This is where it's really useful, guys, that you have a HREC committee set up in the system. And if you don't have one set up and you want one set up, all you need to do initially is email the Regis inbox with all of the attendees' Regis accounts, so their emails, and then you give us the HREC meeting group title, and we create that. Moving forward, you can edit it as you go. So In this user section here, you can see we've got users and groups. This is individual people, so individual users. Okay, and if I click on the group header, these are committees that are already set up in the system. So if I'll just expand the first one, I've got ACT here. So ACT have a HREC group in the system called ACT Health Clinical Trial Subcommittee. So for example, Western Sydney, you could have one that says Western Sydney Local Health District Clinical Trial Subcommittee. Okay, and then you would give us all the attendees or all the people that are in that committee, and we would create that group for you. So you can see we've got the whole group here. We've got 12 members. And if you wanted to auto select all of them, you click that checkbox. Okay, we've selected 12 users within that one group there. If someone perhaps was a part of the study team for an application submitted, so they might have a conflict of interest, you could just unselect that one person and you're still able to select that whole group. So this is a benefit for meetings, particularly because you can create that HREC member group, have it easily selected in the system, so you're not having to go back and forth. So I'll just go to users again, go and click and then finding someone else and then click and then finding someone else. Okay, so you have a nice, easy group created, easy to select. For this particular session though, let's just put ourselves. So we're just making sure we're in that user group. Okay, and we're just going to look up just ourselves. So we just put our name in as our Regis account. So it should be your first name dot surname @health, as we can see here. Okay, once you find yourself, just select the box and then the tick at the bottom applies that. Okay, once we do that, we've added ourselves. Attendance is pending. Fantastic. What we're going to do next is we're going to go to application header. So we're just going to be moving through. And I'll just quickly note, guys, we've got the meeting details here. It is collapsed. So if I expand it, I can do that using the little arrow. I like to keep it collapsed just during the training session because I want you guys to focus on this on the middle of the screen really. So I kind of keep it closed there, but that's just a tip. If you want to see the meeting details, you just use the arrow in the top right corner here. So we'll go applications next. And remembering, guys, we were in that application and we added the meeting to that application. That, like I said, automatically assigns this application to the meeting there. And we can see the status of the application has changed to assign to meeting as well. So that's the status of the application. If you had more applications, what you would be doing is using the add application button. I'll just show you, you don't have to open this, I'm just going to show you. Okay, and you'd go ahead and you'd find the studies as appropriate to put in here as well. You've got a filter there. So if I wanted to find all of them, I'd go ahead and have a search here. So I'm just going to close that. Okay, so I've got just the one study. We'll just do the one study for the meeting here today. And what we're going to do is we're going to assign a lead reviewer to this particular application. So we can do that at this point. Okay, all we need to do, 3 little people icon, that's your manage attendees. We're going to click on that. Okay, and we get this little pop-up come up now. So what we want to do here is we want to kind of allocate ourselves. So you can see that this person is not assigned. So we're going to say toggle once assigned. And we want the role to be lead reviewer. So this is going to come into play a little bit later, and I'll show you the benefit of adding someone and then allocating them a role when a review is created. So again, you could have a list of people here and you're pretty much just assigning the lead reviewer at this point. So you're going to toggle your name to assigned, and then you're going to say you're the lead reviewer and you're going to hit save. So what we've done here is we've gone ahead and we've kind of added the lead reviewer here. Fantastic. What we want to do is next we're going to go ahead and actually create that review. And we're going to see how this now marries into the reviews here. So what we're going to do, make life nice and easy. Okay, we're going to go review. And we're going to add application review. So all I've done is click the header for reviews. And we're going to add the application review. So it wants me to save. So let's save our progress first, be good. So save, yes. This is the good thing about the system, it prompts me because sometimes I like to just try and move through. So I've got to make the page editable again. And then we can click add application review. So we've got to save our progress first, make the page editable again, and then add application review. And this is how we're going to create a review in parallel to our meeting. So I'll just kind of touch what we've got on the screen here, really basic here. It's just populated our review name. So it's pretty much saying review, and then it's pulling the meeting name. The description is the type of meeting that we've created. So it's a HREC meeting. And what we need to populate now is the review type. So I'm just going to go through the types of reviews that are currently in the system, and it's very much like the meeting types. They have no impact on the format of the review. It's just an indication of what type of review it is. So we've got an expert review, full committee review, expedited review, and we've got other. So again, just to make life easy, let's go with a full committee review, and I'll find Southeast Sydney here. What you can see here, we've got an option, assign all attendees to review all items. If we don't want that, we can say no, and we can purely filter by a meeting role. So if you have a meeting full of, say, 20 attendees, but not everyone is there to be a reviewer, you can actually just filter that. So we'll do this because we did assign just a lead reviewer. So on this assign all attendees to review all items, we select no, and we're going to filter by meeting roles. So if I click the drop down, we can say only lead reviewers will be included in the review we're creating. So that's why it's important, if you have some applications that you are assigning to a HREC meeting that are going to require a review by a lead reviewer, this is the benefit of it, because this will then only pull anyone with the role, meeting role, lead reviewer into the review we're about to create. So that's just a little tip there, guys. Okay, you can just say, look, only HREC members, but we did indicate lead reviewer. That's why we're using that lead reviewer filter here. I don't tend to put due dates, but if your office likes to give deadlines, say the reviewer needs to complete it within 2 weeks, you just click on the calendar icon. For example, I'll just say, look, needs to be back to the office by the 26th of September. I'll keep this in here so I can show you where it populates or how this kind of works in the reviewer. So all I've done at this point, guys, I've left these top 2 sections as is, because this was pulling from the actual meeting that's been created. I've selected the review type as full committee review for my LHD. I have assigned all attendees to review items as no, and I've filtered it specifically by lead reviewer, and I've just put a due date. You have an option at this point to save and open, or cancel. Cancel just cancels this all out. Save will save it, and you can kind of continue with the meeting setup, or save and open will open the review at this point. What we're going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and hit save at this point, because I want to add a couple of more things into the meeting before we go into the review. So let's just go ahead and hit save. So we've got our review created here, fantastic. What we want to do at this point is go back to milestones. So what we're going to do at this point is we're going to add our milestones. So what we want to do is select add milestone. So we're in the milestone header, add milestone. And I'll just zoom out. Okay. And what you can do is, to make life really, really easy, is just put your ETH identifier into the search here and hit search. 79, and I'll make sure I select my own one, will be good. So all we're doing at the moment, guys, is we're just allocating some a milestone. We're going to allocate a couple of forms as well to the meeting for review. We've already allocated our application. So what we're going to do next is we're just going to move forward to forms, and I might just zoom in just once here. Yep. So we've added the milestone. So let's go to forms, and same thing, same scenario. We're going to add form. Okay. And we're just going to look up that number again. And what you're going to see here is 3 forms. So you're going to have 2 amendments and 1 safety notification. So that's what you're going to see there. and you can use the little bulk select option just at the top here. Okay, selects the 3 items there, and then we add the form there. And this is when we'll hit save. So we've added our application, milestone, forms, got a review. We then hit save. Yep, so this is coming up, guys, just because we used a different date. Do not worry about this. So yes. And what I'm just going to show you, I'm going to run through this, but you can stay on this page. So we've got our attendee assigned, applications assigned, milestones here, got our 3 forms, and we do have a review created here. So I'll just go back to the forms there. What we want to do is I want to go to that review now. So I want to kind of show you how you can find your review from the review option as well, because we do have reviews in the left-hand menu here. And what I want you to do after you've hit save, I want you to go to review. And I just want to show you, if you had to kind of pop in and you weren't in a meeting, I want to show you how you can find the review. So we're just going to use the review from the left-hand menu. So we're going to click on that. So just touching what we've got on the page here, I might just close that. So we've got the review identifier, the name, type, description, and due date. So I gave mine a due date. It's got 1 reviewer associated with this particular review. If I had multiple applications assigned to a meeting, I'd have multiple reviewers assigned to multiple applications. It would show me maybe I had 3 in it for this instance. So I had 3 reviewers and it would show me. Status just relates to the status of the review up here. So I can see that it's currently pending. It hasn't been sent to the reviewer at this point. So what we want to do at this point, guys, is get into it. So we're going to click the edit icon to the right of the screen. If I had multiple applications, they'd be listed here. Okay, and I'll just go through this, but I'll get you to stay on this page. If I had multiple reviewers, they'd all be listed here. And then the types of reviews that they're associated to. So what this means is I'd have, say for example, I had 3 reviewers and I had 3 applications. I would be seeing the ethics, this particular application listed 3 times with the 3 different reviewers. So again, they'd all be assigned to all the applications in here, and you just go and remove them from the applications they're not needing to review. So automatically it will say, you've got application NCT study 11, and you've got 3 reviewers assigned to 3 separate applications. So NCT study 11, NCT study 12, NCT study 13. You'd have 3 reviewers attached to each of those. So you'd have 9 lines, and you just remove the reviewer not associated with that particular application for review. So that's the way it pulls through from the meeting. So I'll just go back to the application header here. Just something to note that once we have started to edit this and we are happy and ready for it to kind of be saved, once you do hit save, it will send a email notification to the reviewers, letting them know a review has been created and ready for them to have a look at. So an application's ready for them to review. What I want to do here is I want to show you how you can manage the documents that your reviewer will be asking to review. So not all reviewers need to review every single document associated with an application. You might have someone that is perhaps reviewing it from a layperson perspective. So they need to see if the PIC form or the participant information consent form is of a quality to be understood by your applicants. So what we want to do is we've got a little kind of page with a folded edge here. This is how we can manage our documents. So we just want to click on that. So currently there are 6 selected documents. So just scrolling down, I'll just go through it as we go through. So I've got 2 HARIAs here. Maybe I don't need the Word documents. I'm just going to unselect that. Okay. Let's just say, for example, they don't need to review the project registration form. I'm going to unselect that. Okay, study protocol. Maybe I only want them to review the PIC form, HARIA, and study protocol. So I'm going to unselect the questionnaire. Okay, so all I've got now selected is the PDF version of my HARIA, or Human Research Ethics Application, HARIA, however you want to pronounce it. The PIC form, and also just the study protocol. So I'm saying that this particular reviewer only needs to review items 1, 2, 3. Once I'm happy with that selection, I just hit the select document button at the bottom here, and you can see I've got 3 selected documents. So I've managed the documents that I want my reviewer to review. They don't need to review every single document. And this is unique to each application, guys. I'm not telling you this is what you have to do. I'm just showing you that you have the option to manage documents. So someone that maybe doesn't need to look at a questionnaire doesn't have to have that questionnaire visible to them. So this is just a way you can actually really manage. If they just need to see one document even, they can just see one document. We don't hit save yet. I just want to reiterate that, because as soon as I hit save, this is going to send that review off to that reviewer, and it's not complete at this point. I need to go through the next couple just to kind of talk us through what we're going to have a look at here. What we're going to go through next is the application reviewer. So we want to indicate who is going to be reviewing this. So if I had a few people lined up here, this is when it'd come into play, removing them as unnecessary and providing them with a proper review role here. I'm clicking on the reviewer role drop down here. So technically I could say, look, I want them to review it as a reviewer, and there's going to be a lead reviewer. So you can have a couple people on one application and you can indicate what their review role would be. In this instance, let's just go with lead reviewer. Fantastic. So we've got that there. And once we're happy with that, guys, we don't really need to do anything in this section here. I'm happy with this. Okay, you could add additional reviewers if you miss someone. This is what the option is, but we're going to stick with what we've got here. So all I've done, I'm just going to go back. You can stay on this page if you like. Okay, we've managed the documents. Okay, we've got our reviewer here and we've assigned them as the lead reviewer. Once I'm happy with this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit save. Once we hit save, it will then automatically send that email to the reviewer. And I'll just check my email. So this is what your reviewer sees when you complete that review. As soon as you hit save, this email, as we can see, sends to them. So that's why it's really important, guys. If you're not 100% finished with this, don't hit save as you go, not like with a meeting. Once you do hit save, this will automatically send off that reviewer email. So you don't have to then go and create an email. If you hit save, this is what happens. The system will automatically say, dear reviewer, that's who we've got listed. You've been nominated as a reviewer on this application. So we put a due date, and that due date, I'll just show you again, okay, is reflected here. So if you don't put a due date, it just doesn't come up as a due date. As you can see, we've got a QRG just in case they aren't familiar with how to complete reviews. And this link will take them into the review. What we're going to do, I want to show you what it looks like from the reviewer point of view, because from a meeting point of view, we've allocated our application, we've assigned attendees, we've allocated our progress report, 2 amendments and safety notification to a meeting. We've created the review for that meeting and we've sent it off. So from a research office perspective, all of that first initial meeting setup is complete. So right now we're going to throw off the research office hat and we're going to become the reviewer. And I just want to show you from a review point of view what it looks like. So you can click either of these links and it's just going to open a new tab at the top of the screen for you. What we've got on the screen here is a confidentiality deed or non-disclosure agreement. So from a reviewer point of view, they've clicked on their email, taken them into the review. The first thing they need to do is agree to this basic non-disclosure agreement. It's pretty basic here. If they say they don't agree, they get kicked out of the review. They can't complete it. They should talk to the research office. We're going to say we agree. So I agree, tick. Once we do select this, what it's going to do is it's going to take us then into the next step of the review. Okay, so I'm just going to talk about what we've got on the screen here, and then we'll go about completing the review. So I'll start with the right because we've just completed step 1 of 3. Step 1, non-disclosure agreement, we've agreed to it, fantastic. Step 2 is the conflict of interest, we need to complete that. I can't go straight to reviewing the application. I have to complete the steps as they go down. So I need to complete step 2, which is got the green bubble, before I can even go and look at any of the documents. So what we can see here now to the left of the screen, basic application details here. So we've been asked to specifically review this application. Our review is pending. It's only version 1 of that application. We can see it's through mine in particular, it's through Southeast Sydney HREC. Okay, the application owner, if I just hover over the bubble, that should be you. So I've got myself there. I've got a due date here. So this is again the benefit if your office does like to put due dates. This is how it looks like for your reviewer. Once it starts to become overdue, and I'll just show you again, it does flag on their homepage. Sorry to jump around, but I just wanted to show you it visually does flag it is overdue. So I've got a few overdue. So that's another benefit of putting a due date if that's something your office likes to do. This is where it reflects within the review, and on that home page, if it becomes overdue, it's a big red flag there. We can see we're being asked to review an ethics application, and our role is the lead reviewer. If I go to application versions, I can't see anything because I have to complete the conflict of interest now. I'll go back to review details. I'm going to click conflict of interest. So this is the conflict of interest. If we had one, we would declare it and we'd provide a reason. If we don't have one, fantastic. It's going to actually take us into the review form. So again, basic details here. We've got the application identifier and title, who the CPI is, who the organisation is. So it's from Southeast Sydney HREC for me. Do I have a conflict of interest? I click the drop down and I say no. If I say yes, it'll kick me out of the review, and I would need to contact the research office just to let them know that they need to reassign that review to someone else. So do I have a conflict of interest? Let's say no. We don't have to provide a reason. I know it has a red asterisk. That's when it's a yes, but we're going to say no. So as you can see, once the form has been submitted, the action can't be undone. If you make a mistake, contact us, which is the research office, immediately. So we're going to say no conflict of interest and declare and review now. So what we can see here, because we said we did not have a conflict, we actually get taken into the review form and we can complete the review straight away. If as a reviewer I need to come back, I'd hit save just in the middle of the screen here, go out and come back as necessary. Validate is a button I have. You guys shouldn't have that. That's just a Regis team kind of testing button. Preview will download a copy of the form. Okay, so the review form. Next takes us to the next page. This very first page here, I'll touch on the documents in a second. The very first page here is working notes, purely working notes. So if your reviewer likes to have something typed out just to work through the review, this is the place to do it. This is visible to the research office. So you guys will be able to see this, okay? But it's not included in the review. So it does say that here, notes can be seen by the research office, but not included as part of the review. I've just kind of gone through what we said, saving, progress to next page, and then preview download. To the right of the screen here, we have the documents that we've been allocated as the reviewer. So if I click on this drop down here, so remember when I really filtered the documents, I said only the HARIA, just the PIC form and the study protocol. That's exactly all that the reviewer will see. So this is what happens when you manage the documents. You are absolutely saying you are only seeing A, D, and F. Okay, they're not going to see B, C, E. So this is just kind of showing you what happens when you do something from your point of view and how it reflects in the external portal for your reviewer, or your committee members will see that as well too. So it's pretty good. It's just on the page here. It does look a bit small. They can expand it using this expand option. I'll just show you. So just expand it, just pulls it up on the page there nicely. Okay, and they can just review the forms. They don't have to download them. So I'll just close that using the X. They do have the option to download all of the documents. So there's 3. I could download it, just download it at the top of my screen there, or just download a single file. If we go through the documents, they should all pop up on the screen. They're all Word documents, I'm pretty sure, or PDF and Word documents. So that shouldn't be an issue. If I had project registration in here, I wouldn't be able to preview it because it's a zip file that has to be downloaded. So there are certain documents, and you'll notice this too from the internal portal when you go to related documents within an application, for example. Certain things will be visible on the screen, some things you'll have to download. It's all to do with the file. So as we can see, we can download, save it, etc. Okay, so that's what we got there. Application versions, just the headers now in this option here. We've automatically are in documents. This will just let you know if there's been different application versions. There hasn't for this particular application. And then the review details is pretty much what was on that previous page, but just a bit smaller here. What we're going to do, we're going to complete the review. So we're just going to use the option in the middle of the screen to go next. Okay. And you can kind of collapse this if you don't need it. So see the little arrow here? We just click on that and we'll just have the review as a full screen here. Okay, so now this is the formal review. So this is where they're completing a review. This will be what is sent through to the research office as their review report or review form. Okay, and what you guys would use in your meeting there. So this review form is broken into 5 main categories, and it does relate back to sections of the national statement. So just scrolling down. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to click a few things, guys. You don't have to click every single button. Maybe put some text in just to kind of put some comments in. So you see when it comes back to the research office, what you guys can see how it comes back there. So I'm just going to say yes for application summary. And all I'm going to do now, guys, I'm just going to click a couple of things. You can do that too. You don't have to do exactly as I'm doing. We're just going to put some data in now. So these aren't all mandatory fields. We just need to complete some data. And that's all we're doing at this point. So you can see the reference here. It says NS. That's referring to the national statement and that particular section within the national statement. So all I'm going to do, okay, just going to select a couple. So you can go through the form, guys. You don't have to select every single thing. Like I was mentioning, just click a couple of random ones. Okay, because again, this is a dummy review. We're not going to have a really good in-depth look at it. The application is terrible. It's got dummy data, so you'd send that back anyway. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll down a bit more. Just click a couple of random ones, just so you do have some data fields populated. Once we get to the bottom, we've got the option to add additional comments. So if the reviewer wanted to add further comments, fantastic, they can do so here. Below that is their recommendation. So if I click on that, there are 3 recommendations. Application should be approved, no changes required. Applicant needs to provide more information before decision can be made, or application should not be approved. So again, this is the reviewer recommendation. It does not mean that if they say application should be approved, it's approved. It's just their recommendation based on their review of the application. The approval comes down to the committee members and your research office finalising that. So this is just, again, a recommendation. We love our application though, it's fantastic. So we're going to say application should be approved with no changes required. If the reviewer wanted to add any kind of supporting documentation to kind of correspond with anything they've provided in this review, they can add documents. I'll show you. You don't have to do this. So they could say add a document and they could put the document here. Okay. I'm going to just remove that because I don't want to add anything, but that's just letting you know your reviewer can add additional documents to their review to support their recommendation. Once we've gone ahead and completed our form here, we're going to hit submit. Once we hit submit, that's going to complete this review. It's then going to come back to the research office, and I'm going to show you how that pops into your tiles here. So let's go ahead and hit submit and get that back to the research office. Probably the quickest review you'll ever see come through to your office here. Review submitted. So that's just letting us know, hey, reviewer, you've done great. It's all done. This is going to take us back to the reviews. Okay. So this is a review page for reviewers. As you can see, you probably will have none. I'm bad. I actually have a lot that are overdue. Ooh, 145 days. This will show me any review pending for me. So as a reviewer, I can see I've got 3 that I need to complete. I had 4, I've completed 1, so only the pending ones are now showing for me. What we're going to do is off with that reviewer hat, back on with the research office hat, and we're going to go back to the internal portal. So currently, again, we're in the external portal. You should have a tab open that says reviews. Okay, top of the screen, we're just going to click on that. And what I want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to show you how you can find it from your homepage tiles. If you don't have that set up, go to your applications from the left-hand menu and just find your ethics non-clinical trial study, and I'll get there in a second. If you have your homepage tiles set up, you can come with me. I'm going to go home. how it started. We had an application submitted, our ethics application, we made it eligible, went to a meeting, and now under review. So what we can see here is we've got our applications here. So what we want to do is just go ahead and click on it. So this is a review tile, homepage tile, and it takes us directly to the review within the application. So if you found your application, fantastic. What you need to do is select the management header and then just navigate to reviews. Okay. And that'll take you to this page. What we've got on the screen here is just that review that we created and has been submitted back to the research office. So that particular homepage tile is showing you any reviews that have been submitted. So what we can see here, I'm just going to go through the options here. So we can see the conflict of interest. So if we click on that, shows us no conflict of interest. So that's that gavel icon, just shows you any conflict of interest. We can view the review, so the little eye icon, okay, just opens it on the screen. We can go through the review here, go down and they think it should be approved. There is an option if you wanted to download it, which is the preview. And just as it noted, we see how the research office can see any working notes. Again, that is explained to the reviewer in this section here. And lastly, we have the open review management. So if we click on that, it just takes us back into the review, which we don't really need. So those are the options we have. Okay, so if I just go back, we've had a look at that review. What we're going to do now is finish setting up the meeting. Nice and easy. What we want to do here is we can go to meetings from within this management option, or we can use the meeting option here to search, but we're in the application. So let's make life easy for ourselves, because we want to access this particular meeting. So from the management header, we've got the grey drop down options here. So let's go to meetings and we're just going to finish setting up this meeting here. So we've got that meeting there. Let's go into an editable format of that meeting. And we're just going to finish up and kind of manage our documents, and we're going to have fun with grouping and ordering. What we're going to do is, first things first, let's manage our documents for our application. We don't need to do anything with the attendees, so let's go to the application header. So we're going to click on that. Okay, and we've got 6 documents. Do our HREC members need to see all 6 documents? Let's manage it. So we've got the document icon here. We're just going to click on that again. So that's just that page with a folded edge. Okay, so again, we're just looking at the documents currently selected. Does my committee need to see 2 HARIAs? No, I'll get rid of the word, keep the PDF in there. Want my committee to review the PIC form? Yep. Questionnaire? Yep. Project registration, because it's ethic? Yes. We want them to see a full list of sites and currently included in the request and study protocol. We've got the review report here as well. So if I wanted to include that review report, I would say yes. And I'm going to select all those documents I've just managed. Okay. I think the number's going to stay the same because I'm pretty sure I just unselected one and added another. So I'm pretty sure it's going to stay as 6. I'm going to hit select document. Yep. All right. So first things first now, I've managed the documents. Now I want to group this particular application. Grouping and ordering is really, really, really useful in the external portal for your HREC members. It might not seem much to you when you do it here in the internal portal. I will show you the benefit of actually taking the time to group and order your documents, your applications and the forms and such. What I'm talking about is this grouping option here. This is going to be in the milestones as well as forms section. So if I click on this drop down in the group section here, I'm indicating if this is a brand new application, it's initially submitted, or if it's been submitted previously, it's had a request for information and it's come back, so it's an application response. We know this particular application here is the new application, okay? It's not had a request for information, so we're going to group it as application new. Doesn't look like much here at the moment because we don't have multiple applications. We'll start to see it a bit better in forms. But if I had, say, 15 applications, maybe 2 of them were responses, see how we've got a header just to the left of the screen here? So I'll just highlight it. You'd have application new, so you'd have 13 under that, and then you'd have application response, and you'd have 2 under it. If I leave it as not grouped, they're all going to just sit under not grouped. So that's why I think it's really important, and I want to show you what happens when you do send it off, what it looks like, to take that time to group it. Ordering is using this option here. We don't have anything to play with. We will in forms. This will just move it up or down, and I'll show you how to use that in a second. So all we've done here, manage the document, and we've grouped the application. We're going to move to milestones next. Okay, and the same thing. See how we've got the grouping? So we just want to select the drop down. We've reviewed this progress report. We know it's not a final, it's just an annual report. So again, you've got the difference. You've got annual or final reports. Is it a brand new submitted milestone? So is it just an initially submitted progress report, or has there been a request for information and it's been sent back? We know that it's brand new, so we're going to say annual report new, and we're going to move to not projects, forms. So forms, this is where you'll start to see we can play with the displaying order. So what we've got here, we've got 2 amendments and we've got a safety notification. So we'll start from the top here. We've got new or as a response, or we've got safety. So you actually have a difference between amendments and safety notifications here. We're going to go with new because they're all new. So see how straight away there's a difference? These aren't grouped yet. This has its own brand new group. This is a new amendment. So we'll go to the next amendment, which is the change in CPI for me. We're saying it's a new amendment. So again, seeing how we're grouping, making it nice and neat. And then lastly, we've got a safety notification. Again, it's brand new. So safety notification, it's just alphabetical as well. That's why the safety's popped down. If you had multiple amendments and maybe you wanted all of your general amendments first, all of your change CPIs second, HREC extensions third, etc., this is when this display order will come into play here. So for example, if I want change in CPI to sit above my general, I'd hit the arrow to go up, or I could move it back down. So make it really nice and neat, nice and easy how you group them. And it does have an impact in the external portal, which we'll have a look at very shortly when we finish up just creating this in the agenda. We can go ahead and save this. So we want to save the progress here. So save, yes, it is in the past. And we're just going to have to make this editable again. Again, we just got to make it editable there, but we'll just have a look. Fantastic. They all look good. They saved what we wanted. That's great. So edit. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to create an agenda. How we do that in the system, I know a lot of offices use their own agendas and they tend to upload it into meeting documents, which is absolutely fine. But if you want to use the system generated one, it's the option just under the meeting header, generate meeting agenda. So we click on that, and what it's going to do, it's going to download the agenda template. Okay, and I'll just open it up. And I'll just pop it over here. It's a very generic agenda, and understandable that research officers like to use their own. It's not a problem. So what we've got here is some basic details. We've got the meeting details, the type, is it completed? No. So far we've got the agenda, it's got myself as attending, okay? And anything that has yellow text is something you would edit and you go ahead and save your information there. So we've got our milestones. So we've got a progress report, 2 amendments and safety notification. Again, manual data. We've got an application for review. Manual data, manual data. I'm just going to save mine. What I want to show you is how you can upload a document into the meeting, because again, I know a lot of research officers like to have their own agendas. So this is where I'm going to show you now as well, how you can upload documents into your meeting. We've downloaded our agenda, put some little edits in there, and we've saved it. What we're going to do now is upload it. So go to meeting documents and other business, and we're going to add document. Click drag and drop it if you like, or like me, I'm going to have to find mine. So I'm going to click on this section here, downloads, and I'm just going to click on it. It's not ready to apply to the meeting yet, because when we have this gold floaty box here, we haven't uploaded it yet. We've just selected a document because we need to update the document type. So this is pretty long. So I've got meeting agenda, September. Yeah, that's okay. I'll just get rid of that. So I'm just tidying up the title here. This is how it's going to appear in a second as a document. It's definitely not an acquittal report, but thankfully we have meeting agenda and meeting minutes as options here. Once you've got that, once you hit the upload, that's when this document is actually saved as a document within your meeting. All right, so that's how you can upload documents into your meetings. Really nice and straightforward. Once we're happy with that, what I want to do is I also want to show you this composed PDF. Okay, so straight away you'll see a little red error. It's absolutely fine. That's just because this is going to create a one document with all of your documents that have been submitted for the meeting. Project registration won't be able to be saved in here because it's obviously a zip file. So just remove that using the delete icon. All right, so PDF. This is a really, really good document. It provides your HREC with a full list of all the meeting items in one document. What we'll see in a second when we do generate it is that the headers are clickable. So it's a really useful document. If you wanted to compile all the meeting papers into one, this is the way to go. You can absolutely rename it as well. Meeting PDF doc. Obviously, it's a terrible file name for myself, but I'm just going to rename it. You have the ability to rename this too. So, for example, I can just say applications. Okay. And for example, I could just tidy this up as well and go, look, I just want it to be the ethics identifier. And something else we could do, say, for example, I wanted maybe the progress reporting lower. So, you could say, look, you want it up or down. You can move all this. Okay. Grouping, so go down. Let's go down more to group 3, group 4. So I want it at the very bottom. So grouping, the group name will move the whole group of documents. If you do individual, so for example, I want that up. That's just an individual document within that group. Okay, so just something to kind of keep in mind. So you can always reset it if you don't like what you've done. You can save your progress, or you can generate your PDF. And what it's going to do, it's going to take a little second here, and it should save up here. There we go. Once you click on the PDF that has finished, okay, it's just going to take you in here. I'm just going to tidy up mine because I don't want them sitting here. Okay, I'm just going to tidy mine up. And I can see everyone's in here, but we just really want our own. And I'm just going to click on my PDF doc. Okay, so all you can do, for example, you can see these headers. They all are clickable. So for example, let's say I want to go to the change in CPI-PI. If I click on that header, I'm taken there. Okay, and I'll have all the documents in there as appropriate. Okay, so for example, if I go back up, let's say I go to forms. Okay, and I've got my safety issue. So again, it's just one document with all of the meeting papers compiled into one there. And it's just an option, guys. You don't have to use it, but it is there if that's something you think will be useful for your meetings. Nice and easy to get out of this. We just hit the back arrow. It's going to take us back into the meeting. What we can do with that, add document, go and find it. It'll be in my download. And I'm just going to add this as a meeting document so they have it available. So I could just say meeting compiled meeting documents. And then I'm going to hit upload. So again, I'm just adding this document to show you as an example. If you do use this composed PDF functionality and you want to have that document with all the compiled meeting papers in it, you can also add it into your meeting documents. This will then be visible for your committee members. Once we've done that, what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and hit circulate meeting in the top left-hand corner. That's going to open this email template up. This will include all of the committee members, okay? It won't just be the one attendee. We've only got one attendee there. This should include all of those committee members. And as you can see, dear committee member, papers for the following meeting, this meeting here. I didn't put a venue. So if I had put a venue in the meeting title section, that's where it would have pulled up. So if you ever see anything like this, guys, for this particular instance, it's correct because we didn't add anything. But if you see something like that in emails, you can get rid of that. So I'm just going to say meeting 12th September, got the date there if I wanted to. I'm just cleaning it up a little bit. Okay, happy with that. It's very straightforward, simple email. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to hit send. Once I send this, it's going to create that email for the HREC committee members. They will click on a link, it'll take them into the meeting. So let's hit send. And it's popped us out of the meeting because at this point, from a research office perspective, we're done with that meeting for now. It's now with the HREC committee members for their review. Let's go have a look in the external portal. I want to show you from a committee member point of view what it looks like when they do get that meeting allocated to them. If you've still got the review open at the top of the screen, fantastic, you can click on that. And then you should have a meetings tab. If you don't have that, you closed that previously, just use the Regis Blue Cloud. Okay, that'll open a new tab at the top of the screen. And you'll have in your little tile on your homepage of your external portal, you'll have a meeting coming up. So you should have one, hopefully, and not too many. So you can click on that and that'll take you to your meetings there as well. Click on the meeting title and it's going to take you into the meeting. So this is what your committee members will see. Your HREC members will see this when they log into Regis or they use that link in the email, it'll take them into the meeting here. To the right of the screen, this is where they can indicate if they're going to attend the meeting or not. Currently it's pending. All we can do is go attending. Okay, or we can say, look, we're not going to attend, but we'll say we're attending. This is going to reflect in the internal portal when we go back to this meeting. To the left of the screen here, we have all of the documents that have come through. So meeting documents and other business. This is the same title that we had in our meeting when we created it in the internal portal as the research office. So remember we added the meeting documents agenda. This is actually just an email and it's just saved here. So we don't need to worry about that. We can see that this person is attending. That's us. So your HREC committee members can see all of the attendees. I've got a particular role. So you guys should see that you have an application role and you're a lead reviewer. You can see the meeting ID, meeting type, the date of the meeting. And if we click on the meeting items header, just in the top left-hand corner, this is going to show us all of the meeting documents. So see how we did group our documents, applications, our amendments, progress reporting. This is why I wanted to kind of stress the point because it is really, really useful for your committee members when it is grouped like this and it's not just not grouped, because when you don't have it grouped, it literally says not grouped and it just has all of your documents there. So this is just making life that little bit easier for committee members. And I can see that it says lead attendee, but that means the lead reviewer. I've been allocated the lead reviewer for this particular application. So remembering when we created our meeting, we did assign ourselves as a lead reviewer in the meeting, not in the review, in the meeting. This is where it comes through as well. And we can see we've got all of our documents here. On the gold row, if we select the checkbox, we can bulk download all of these documents here. If we want to kind of select individual documents to download, we can do that too. So that's just showing you from the committee member point of view what they see.